I was 19, scared, alone, and pregnant. I still remember that night, like it just happened yesterday. The air felt heavy, like something terrible was about to happen. My hands were shaking. My heart wouldn't slow down. And I kept telling myself, maybe they'll understand, maybe they'll support me. But I was wrong. The moment my parents found out, everything changed. There was no warmth in their eyes, no concern in their voices, no love in the way they looked at me. Just silence, cold, painful silence. My father didn't even look at me. He just stood there, staring at the wall, like I didn't exist. And then my mother spoke. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was sharp enough to break me completely. "You've ruined this family." Those words didn't just hurt. They stayed with me. I tried to speak. I tried to explain. I told them I was scared, that I didn't know what to do, that I needed them. But they didn't listen, not even for a second. That same night, they packed my clothes. No discussion. No second chance, no love. Just a decision. And within minutes, I was standing outside my own house. The door closed behind me. And with it, everything I ever knew. I stood there for a long time, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, just holding my stomach, whispering to myself, "It's going to be okay. It has to be okay." But deep inside, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. My name is Sarah, and this is the story they never thought I'd survive. I grew up in a family where reputation meant everything. What people said mattered more than how we felt. We always had to look perfect, act perfect, live perfect lives. But the truth is, no life is perfect. And the moment I made one mistake, they treated me like I didn't belong anymore. The first few days were the hardest. I had no money, no plan, no support. I stayed at a friend's house for a while, sleeping on a small couch that barely fit me. Every night, I would stare at the ceiling, thinking about my life, wondering how everything fell apart so quickly. Sometimes I cried so quietly, so no one would hear me, because I didn't want to be a burden. But I already felt like one. As weeks passed, things got worse. My friends' families started getting uncomfortable. I could feel it. They didn't say it directly, but their behavior changed. And one day, I understood. I couldn't stay there anymore. So I left again, this time with nowhere to go. There were nights when I walked for hours, just to avoid sitting alone with my thoughts. There were nights when I sat on benches, holding my stomach, trying to stay strong. And there were nights when I felt like giving up, but every time that thought came, I placed my hand on my belly, and I reminded myself, I'm not alone anymore. That thought saved me. Months later, after everything I went through, the day finally came. The day I would meet the reason I kept fighting. The pain was unbearable. The fear was overwhelming. But the moment I heard his cry, everything changed. I held him in my arms, and suddenly, nothing else mattered. He was small, fragile, perfect. Tears rolled down my face as I whispered, "Hi, my baby." I named him Daniel, and in that moment, I made him a promise. No matter what happens, no matter how hard life gets, I will never leave you. That promise became my strength. Life didn't magically get better. In fact, it became even harder. I had a child now, a responsibility, a reason to keep going, even when I felt like I couldn't. I worked everywhere I could, cleaning houses, washing dishes, serving tables, doing double shifts, sometimes even more. There were days when my body felt like it would collapse, but I kept going because when I came home and saw Daniel smiling, everything felt worth it. There were nights when we barely had food. I would pretend I wasn't hungry, just so he could eat. I would smile, even when I was exhausted, just so he wouldn't feel my pain. Because I didn't want him to grow up thinking he was the reason for my struggles. To me, he was the reason I survived them. As he grew older, I started noticing something special about him. He was different, kind, respectful, and incredibly smart. Even as a child, he understood things beyond his age. Sometimes he would look at me and ask, "Mom, are you okay?" And I would smile and say, "I'm always okay when I'm with you." He believed me. But deep inside, I knew one day he would learn the truth. Years passed. slowly but surely. Life began to stabilize. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. Daniel worked hard in school. He stayed focused. He never complained about what we didn't have. Instead, he appreciated everything we did have. One day, he came home holding an envelope. His hands were shaking, but his eyes were shining. "Mom, I think this is important." I opened it, and as I read it, my hand started shaking too. He got accepted into one of the best universities, with a scholarship. I couldn't believe it. After everything, after all the struggles, we finally had a moment of victory. I hugged him tightly, tears streaming down my face. We did it. But deep down, I knew our journey wasn't over yet, because some truths don't stay hidden forever. One evening, everything changed again. Daniel sat next to me, quieter than usual. "Mom, can I ask you something?" I nodded. "Where are your parents?" That question hit me harder than anything. For years, I avoided it. For years, I lied. But this time, I couldn't. So I took a deep breath, and I told him everything. Every detail, every pain, every moment I was abandoned. I told him how I stood outside that night, alone, scared, rejected. He just listened. But I saw it. Something changed in his eyes that day. Not anger, not sadness. Something deeper, stronger, determination. Years passed again, and Daniel became everything I ever hoped for. Successful, confident, respected. But more importantly, he never forgot. And he never forgave what happened. One day, he came to me and said, "Mom, it's time." I didn't understand. Until we stopped in front of a house I never thought I would see again. My parents' house. My heart started racing. My breathing became heavy. Memories flooded back. The pain, the rejection, the loneliness. I didn't want to go in, but Daniel stepped forward, calm, confident. He walked to the door and knocked. Each second felt like a lifetime. Then the door opened. My father stood there, older, weaker, confused. He looked at us, trying to understand. And then Daniel spoke. "You don't know me, but years ago, you threw a pregnant girl out of this house." Silence. My mother appeared behind him, and the moment she saw me, everything changed. Her face turned pale. Her eyes filled with shock. Daniel looked straight at them and said, "That girl was my mother." No one spoke. No one moved. The past was standing right in front of them. My father tried to say something. "We were wrong. We didn't know." But Daniel stopped him. "She needed you, and you abandoned her. She had nothing, and still she survived. And now, she doesn't need you anymore." Those words hit harder than anything, because they were true. We didn't come back for revenge. We didn't come back for closure. We came back to show them one thing. They didn't break us. They didn't destroy us. They didn't win. As we turned and walked away, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not pain, not anger. Peace. A deep, quiet, powerful peace. Daniel held my hand gently and said, "You didn't lose anything that day, Mom." They did. And for the first time in 20 years, I finally felt free.